Many of you are getting ready to do a presidential evaluation. This is an annual task that trustees take on. There's a lot of high stakes here. You want to reward management and leadership that is doing an exceptional job. You also want to find ways to help leaders understand if their expectations are not being met. And ultimately, you're looking for an idea of whether or not to reinforce what's going on or to maybe move on from what's going on with your leadership. So let me just give you some general criteria ideas that may be off the beaten path a little bit, but that I think are really important. Many of these can't really be implemented if you're doing the evaluation today. If you have 6 months, a semester in front of you, you might want to be thinking about how to start thinking about your evaluations as trustees to be as productive as possible. You don't want to be evaluating your leader on a wide smattering of activity. You want to be sure that you understand that your leader's job is to carry the mission, vision, and strategy forward. They are out there selling those points and making sure and bringing everyone in the community aboard with those. So that's what you're looking for. Constancy of purpose. Are they able to beat that drum consistently, constantly, and effectively? That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for short-term goals either. At this point, if you're saying, okay, what happened this quarter or with the semester, really is not going to give you a good idea of the picture. You do have to have some time for things to play out. So let's look at those, expanding our time horizons a little bit. Also, and this is another strategy that trustees should be taking on, is avoiding only summative evaluation. Did the leader hit their marks? More interesting is what are they doing and what did you agree upon to be the strategies to get there? Think of it more as a formative evaluation. And the nice thing about a formative evaluation is you can develop the criteria, and then if they're not being met as you meet with the president, as you go to meetings with the president, as you use that personal contact, you can say, hey, this is not being done. I'm not seeing you pay attention in meetings, because the meetings I'm attending with you, you're not paying attention. You're preoccupied. You're not being focused. Those kinds of things are great ways for trustees to use their own personal experience to evaluate a president and help them before you get too far along. So when you see things that are not being done well, you can have an intervention. You can talk to them about what the problem is, and you can find them the support that they need to get better and improve things. We need to have a model of supervision, of management, that helps people do their job, that trains people to do their job. Now, leadership at the president level is very much focused on a governance type of model, mission, vision, strategy. But the people who report to the president, the president's staff, those executive officers, those provost, vice president for finance and administration, vice presidents of different departments, those are the people who are going to really pick up the ball, and they should be evaluated on how much they help their people do their jobs, not the directives that they throw out. It is, you're doing your job. This is what the capacity of your job is. Let's see how we can do it better. If you're not seeing that in the organization as a whole, you've got a problem. Now, ultimately, it is the president, even though they're focused on these larger, big picture issues of really driving the mission of the university forward, you still have to think of they're still responsible for their immediate staff. And so that staff level needs to be clear that they are able to manage the organization in a way that provides the tools, the resources, the education, the training, the support for the people underneath them. They're not just holding a position. And that's the way we want to address and evaluating the president. Are they creating an ecosystem that makes that happen? Education and self-improvement have to be critical throughout the entire organization. If your organization is not constantly if everyone in the organization does not have an education plan, a training plan, professional development plan, then you've got a problem. That includes your president. That includes has they set up those kinds of opportunities for their staff, and that goes all the way down into the faculty. This can be really difficult because oftentimes there's not enough resources. We get professional development money occasionally, and less nowadays, to our faculty, where they can go to do professional things. They can go to conferences. They can go to make presentations. But are we building up their skill set? Not just in a here's a workshop opportunity, but in a serious way. They are serious professionals and they need serious professional development. Not just where they're going to go someplace and check it off and maybe they're just going to be aligned on the Vita. Where did they go? What did they learn? And how is that impacting their lives? If it's a manager, how are they becoming a better manager for it? And how can they prove that they became a better manager for it? If it's a faculty member, maybe it's how to do a new research technique and how they're applying that technique, or improve their teaching. Teaching in this modern day is a very different animal than it was before. Online opportunities, AI opportunities, flexible format opportunities, the whole gamut. Is not reasonable to expect your staff, your faculty, who were essentially developed in a previous era, and that counts for everybody now since things are moving so fast, that you don't have a plan. So you are evaluating the top. The president is, have they made that happen university-wide, institutional-wide? Finally, I want to leave you with this thought of generating success and ideas and not just finding examples. The problem with one of the big problems with a modern university is the competitive position of that university. Unfortunately, we do a lot wrong on this idea. In a more corporate environment, we'd be tempted to find niches, find places where we can excel that nobody else can, build brands that nobody else can build. We tend to do just the opposite in higher education. Frankly, every university looks pretty much the same, top to bottom. Our schedules, our teaching loads, our teaching tools, our timetables, who we're hiring, who we're not hiring, our programming, our infrastructure, all looks pretty much the same. Even the activities we engage in. If you look at the websites from different universities, they are pretty much the same. They are templates of one another. Big activities with student orientation in the fall. Now it has become a cliche to get all the students together and you get an aerial shot of like their graduating year. This happens everywhere. Everybody do this. It was a clever idea the first time somebody did it. It's pretty derivative at this point. And so you need to find out whether your president is leading in the direction, not just to be the same as everybody, but all the things that they're doing to be different than everybody else. This is the time for that differentiation. Those are just some ideas when you're thinking about the broad scope of how you're going to do your president evaluation. Obviously, you're going to want to have a whole set of metrics. You're going to have a whole set of criteria. You're going to have a whole set of rubrics to tell you whether they have met or not met the metrics. You're going to have a whole set of conditions, activities, expectations. All those kinds of things are going to be part of your package. But don't forget about the trusteeship part of this process, not just sort of the fiduciary part. Make it clear that you are interested in a leader who is developing the organization and you are participating in that conversation of how to develop the university. You're not only going to be providing a checklist, and you're also going to have some specifics to work with. So it's not just hey, I think they did a good job. It's predetermined areas of, we expected you to do this, and this is what you did. And so this is the range of how you're going to be evaluated. You're either going to be at status quo, you're going to be affirmed and have some sort of specific compensation tied to that, or you're going to be looking at a remediation plan, if not dismissal. So don't forget, when you're working through the fiduciary mechanics of the evaluation process, that you're also contributing to the strategic and generative